Morning, beloveds. So, what am I talking about today? I suppose what I'm going to talk about today, or maybe see what comes, is authenticity. Is this feeling of being authentic and getting in touch with your own authentic being. We're all a little bit brainwashed, as it maybe needs to be by our upbringing, and as we go through life, we are told this and we're told that, and to a certain degree we have to follow this because we have to survive. We are children. If we put our hand in the fire, we would burn ourselves. Yes, we would get an experience, but that seems to be a little unintelligent. So we have to learn from people that are around us. At a certain point in our life, some come to a point where they suddenly are questioning what they have been taught and what they have been told, and it doesn't suddenly sit comfortably anymore. So there becomes a bit of a split in us, because we respect often the people, our parents, our senior people, our teachers and things. We respect them, and on some level we have to listen to them and trust them to begin with. But this point comes where we start to question and have a different feeling about certain things. This is happening, as I see it now, for younger and younger people. More in the past it was people who were coming into maybe their 30s and 40s, who had lived and suddenly realised that maybe they weren't happy, or what they were living was not true. So people sort of start to question. But now I see the young people are starting more and more to question, which means that the intelligence on the planet is actually growing. They're not just swallowing what they are told or what they are taught. They're wanting to understand it. Now, if we're not careful, we can just go somewhere else and learn something else from somebody else and somebody else's truth, which may be different from our parents or the teachers we started with. And it may be more aware, and it may not, or it may just be different. And whether it's right for us or not, because we're all individuals, is debatable. But we don't, how do we do this? My feeling is that existence, when you are ready, existence will put the right person in your path. If it's a person, it might be a plant, it might be an animal, it might be a personal life experience that you have. And it will help you to understand something deeper if you are ready to be listening to it. So the trick is really, are you able to listen to it? Are you able to hear it? The authenticity as it comes. It is not always what somebody is saying exactly. It may be that it just tastes right to you, or it just somehow rings in your ears, or it smells sweet, and it feels right and settles in you. So one thing that is really good in this time of speed that we're on, and has probably always been the way of people who are questioning, is that they will take time away from their normal life and spend some time in a different place. Maybe a more noisy and crazy place, it may be whatever, but they go often on a journey, or they find somewhere where they can slow down and be a bit away from their normal collective. So they can find out, instead of this collective, the question should be, what does it feel like for me? But to begin with, one has to find that authentic ability within the self to be able to to smell what smells sweet, to taste what tastes right, to know that within the self. Otherwise you get led along another path. You may be with a charlatan. You may be with somebody else who's not teaching you so well. We've got the planes flying over there. We're in army area in Pune, so they practice flying along the river. I think it's a navigational thing that they practice, so sometimes they go past the very noisy part of the life here. So as I was saying, first of all, we need to get in touch with that part of ourselves that is our own authentic register, that knows, oh, that smells right, that tastes right, that feels correct, that is flowing. Is my life flowing? And it's always good, because you know sometimes when your life's not flowing, because you suddenly keep hitting the wall, and you keep hitting the wall, and you keep hitting the wall, and you go, no, I'm going to hit the wall, I'm going to go that way, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do it this way. And instead of going, okay, life is trying to tell me something. So, okay, in this moment, it is not flowing. So, okay, let's stop for a minute and look and see, why am I keep hitting my nose on the wall? Okay, sometimes it's much more simple than we think. We think life has to be very complicated. Sometimes if we bring it back to simple and we just slow down a little bit and look, why, maybe I need to walk away from this situation, maybe I need to go and make a cup of tea. Might be something very simple. It doesn't have to be a big meditation, it doesn't have to be a big group. What do I need to do in this moment? And if you're finding that you're getting blocked and blocked and blocked and it's not working, then maybe you can go, okay, maybe existence doesn't want me to go here in this moment. So maybe I should just try something else. And often you will find, if you just stop for a minute, if you just take not even a step back, even if you just take a step sideways, you just go and make a cup of tea or something, you will find that there is a space within you that will talk to you, and it will tell you. It is your own innate inner wisdom, and every single person has it. The trick is that we've all forgotten to listen to it. We all listen to everybody else. We listen to the advertising, we listen to the politicians, we listen to the religious people, we listen to everybody. And they have their own beauty and they have their own space, but that does not mean it is necessarily correct for you or me or us as an individual person. We all have our own uniqueness. We all have things that we will do on this planet, and it will be different from somebody else. Isn't that beautiful, that we are all unique, that we're not all carbon copies of each other, that we all have our own nice things, we have our own nasty things. But we are unique. It's like flowers, if you can imagine a field of different flowers. We're not all one type of flower. We're all unique. We're all, even in nature, not one leaf is the same as another. So even though the plant species may be the same, and we may be human beings, we may be in a human body, but that we are all very unique. Our pots are all unique. Our flowers are all unique. And so we can live in certain things, we can learn certain things, but at some stage we need to slow down. Slowing down is, as I see it, a good way to do it. And take some time where you make some space to start to be able to listen. Because I often have friends say to me, oh, but I don't know what to do, and then I just look at them in the eyes and I say, hey, you do know what to do. And they go, oh, no. And I say, you do know what to do, you just don't, you may not want to do it, that's a different matter, and you may not want to be listening to what that little voice inside you is saying. Because you don't trust yourself, you'd rather trust me or everybody else. Now, I don't say don't trust anybody, because at some stage we have to, especially if we're in this shifting space. But start to see, does it taste right? Does it smell right? Does this person feel authentic? is this person trying to disempower me? Are they wanting to take it away, and they'll go, oh yeah, you come with me and I'll take care of you and I'll love you and I'll look after you? Or are they saying, I can hold the space for you to land maybe and to come, and maybe I can give you some tools or help you with something that might assist you to find the fragrance of yourself? I would say, depending on where you are on your path, you may need to do structures, you may need to do some groups. Just not because they're right, but just because it's different, to do something different, to do something that breaks the pattern of the past. Not that the past pattern is wrong, but just to give it a play. If you've always walked one way to work or one way to school or one way, maybe you just walk a different way and see who you meet. Start listening, taking it a bit slower. Start taking some time when you have opportunity. Even if you're working, you have to do certain things. But start trying that if you are, say, on a weekend or you have some time, that you don't have to have structure. Maybe just allow yourself not to have the structure and wake up in the morning and follow your nose. It might go, oh, I'm going to make a cup of tea. It might go, oh, well, I'm going to go and do something. But try not to plan for a little while. Just try and just follow your nose and see where it leads you. It might lead you into a wall and you go, oh, I'm hitting the wall. Then this is not the way to go. And see where it leads you and see the beauty of that. And in that you will start listening to your flow, and you will find what is correct for you. So we can talk more on this. If you want me to talk more on this, you will maybe need to ask me a question, because I respond. If you ask me, then there will be a response that comes. It comes through this Suchira. It is not channeling. It is not in this way. It just it is a response. So if you ask me a question, there may be an answer. I won't know what that answer will be. It won't be a bog standard answer. It might seem like one, but it won't be, and it will just be just my inner response. And maybe that might support you or make sense to you or smell right to you. And if so, do that. And find those people that challenge you to step beyond your comfort zone, especially if you're not happy in your life, especially if you don't like how your life is. Then the only person that is able to shift that is you. And this world is going so fast at the moment. Part of that is slowing down. It doesn't mean you have to go somewhere. If you can go somewhere, that's beautiful, because it breaks you away from your collective. But if not, just take a weekend or something where you say to people, I'm not doing the normal things. I'm maybe going to turn my phone off, or I'm gonna not do the normal things. You can let everybody know, hey, this weekend I'm trying something else. And then maybe you get a group of you together, and you might find the routine will come, but it will be a routine that is flowing. Anyway, this is my gibberish for this morning. I didn't know I was going to do this morning. And I wish you a beautiful day. Find the space within you that is authentic. Because we know when we're bullshitting ourselves. But sometimes we just really don't want to listen because it's not what we want to hear. But we can ask ourselves, we can actually stop for a minute and just say, like, if it was me, hey Suchira, what's happening right now? And you will get an answer back if you're listening. And it may not be the answer you want. But then try and be authentic and follow your own inner wisdom. But first of all, you have to learn to know the taste of it. Don't let people disempower you. Follow the people that you feel are encouraging you to find yourself. And that means they might be quite tough. because so many of us want Mama and Papa to take responsibility for us and to do it for us and to give us the answer. And in this time we're in, this is not the time. The time is that the people to help mirror for you and point things to you will be there. They will turn up for you. Existence is so generous. They always turn up when it is truly needed, not when you think you want it. Sometimes we have to fall apart first. And then we have to be ready to be listening, to be able to know the smell of it, the taste of it. And ultimately we have to learn to come into that place within us that is our own innate inner wisdom. But that means we have to take responsibility. We have to take responsibility for ourselves, also for our mistakes, and not to feel there's anything wrong with sometimes saying, hey, I made a mistake, and going back or looking at it, and not to make yourself wrong, not to make yourself guilty, just to say, oh, that wasn't such a good thing. I'm learning from that. I'm moving from that. And if it's something you don't like, don't do it again. Or watch yourself if you do it again and go, whoops, done that again. But the trick is, don't make yourself guilty about it, because that's stupid. We all fuck up sometimes. We all make mistakes sometimes. And it's okay, we learn from that, but learn from it. Anyway, again, wish you a happy morning. Have a beautiful one. Life moves, somehow goes so fast. And on the outside it is slow, but there's so much going on, and it's such a precious time on this planet. Smell the roses, my friend. Smell the beauty of yourself. Find the wisdom of yourself. It's there, I promise. Okay. Love you heaps. Have a great morning.